go by Solana.
And then you, sir?
Oknice, Midway, St. Paul.
All right, so we're here sitting with Starin at the City. We're doing kind of like a group interview thing, so like there's no real particular way this is gonna go about. I kind of want it to be like just a simple conversation about art, music, life, like as if the camera's not there and these bright ass lights, even though that's like challenging. So, but like we could start with you. So you said St. Paul, or where are you from?
I live in Minneapolis, but I've been just all over the metro.
You're all over the metro?
Yeah.
When did you start music? First of all, how old are you?
I'm 30.
You're 30?
Yeah.
That's dope. I did not know that. You look 22.
Nobody knows that.
Nobody knows that. Well,
this is blowing my cover.
All right. Then, so when did you start, and then why did you start, and then we could kind of like go from there, because I don't even know that.
For sure. So I started music in high school because I wanted friends. Like I was quiet. I didn't have any friends. So I joined this band because I needed a bass player, and I did that for years. And then once the band broke up, I was like, shit, I just don't want to do music. And it gave me an opportunity to do stuff that I liked. Like the band was more like they were my close friends, more so that I was super passionate about the music, that type of music. So then once I got on my own, I like made beats for a little bit, and then I sang on top of them, and it's just kind of evolved from there.
Okay. So how long would you say you've been doing this then?
The Solana thing I've been doing 4 or 5 years now. Yeah.
And then, so from when I discovered you was Beach House, the Beach House video.
Okay, yeah.
If you haven't seen the Beach House video, it's a really dope video that Solana did, and it's just like really professional. So I guess my question is, who did you contact and how that relationship came about for those visuals? And like in the series of videos you've made, you also have like these group of women too that dance with you. It's kind of like a theme throughout your videos. So like, how did those relationships happen, and what vision did you have for those videos going through?
For sure. So the dancers I met, so they're from the U of M Dance Collective. And I just seen their shows like 2 years ago. I'd seen them perform. I got to know a couple of them, and I pitched the idea. I just had a song in mind I was going to film for it. I was like, would y'all like to do some choreo for this? And basically we just worked ever since. It's kind of a promotional thing. Like I think about like if I'm scrolling through YouTube, would I rather see myself or would I rather see some pretty girls dancing around? So now when I'm filming, I usually pick out an upbeat song that can be danced to.
Okay. And so when Solana started, were you, because like I would consider your music R&B, is that fair, or do you not want to put it in that category?
I call it R&B.
R&B, okay. So was it always R&B? Like what draws you to that genre? Was there other genres you were like experimenting with? Is there other genres you do want to experiment with? Or because like this sound is dope. Like I don't like, this sound is so hard because it's hard, but it's R&B, and it's like you don't have to be a trap star anymore to like hang, or I don't know. It's just like it fits, but it's not. I wouldn't call it hip hop. I wouldn't call it rap, but it's hard though. So how was that always a theme of yours?
Yeah. So I would say it kind of stems back to what I was saying about I came into music with like a rock band, like guitars and drums. But I loved Odd Future and Flying Lotus,
yeah.
and like Kanye West. So then once I was done with the rock music kind of thing, I was like, I need to express something else. So like I intentionally, and I still love like Drake. Like when Drake sings, that type of like, you know, it's R&B, but it's not Boyz II Men.
Right.
It's more like vibey, down tempo stuff. So like, okay. I wanted to try that.
Now that you said Drake, and like when he does R&B, like now that isn't your music doesn't sound like Drake's music, but like I see that inspiration.
Oh, big
time. in that music.
Big time.
Okay, nice. So you're a battle rapper.
Yeah. Yep.
So I wouldn't, because like the other day I was with Nate, we were like flipping through watching like some of your like battle raps and how hard they were. There was this one line that really stuck out that was really dope. It was clean cuts like they're radio friendly. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I can see you with God. Yeah, that was. And he's still
so I'm really interested, like in like if you don't want to talk about it, I don't know if it's like I don't know that culture.
Sure.
So like whatever, but I'm really I'm just now discovering that culture. I mean I know battle rap has always been a thing, but like now that we have technology, you can like watch this shit.
Yeah.
So I've just been watching this shit, and it's like super intense. So like I just want to know what's the process of doing battle rap? How did you get into battle rap? And yeah.
Yeah. So like most rap. I'm 31, so I feel you. You probably assume that though. You think you're 22, probably thinks I'm 45. No, so yeah, so when I got into rapping, it was kind of that's how it started, like just freestyling and battling like my friends, and losing friends over it. But then I got heavy into music, and a few years ago when I decided I want to start doing music more seriously, I was trying to figure out those outlets, but I just knew I wanted to rap. And so I got into doing battles because it was easier, because you literally just have to write your rounds and show up and rap. And I've been a fan of the culture for a long time. I think like my music isn't really like heavy punchlines and bars, but I wanted to flex that part of my writing. And so I got into battles, and it was weird. Like it's weird to be like just me and some friends agree to like say really mean shit to each other. But yeah, it's fun. Like I do it less and less because I feel less mean these days. Like I don't like writing mean stuff about other people anymore. But like there's still times like when I hear somebody like see somebody, especially like somebody like young, right, from like St. Louis, especially like out of state people like from St. Louis, like, I'm the best. I just always like there's that itch in me to be like, nah, you're not, fuck you. Like let's but yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun to flex that part of my brain too. To come up with that stuff and try to like predict how I can be better than somebody else.
So you said earlier just now, like, all right, it's like that's kind of how like your art form started, was like these freestyling. So what did you want to turn that into? Like, cause you make EPs, like you over here making albums, you've done like, so how did cause that's two different. I mean, same art but two different expressions.
Yeah.
There's being an artist and then there's being a battle rapper. Like me watching it now, I'm like, there's so like there's two different lanes. So like the artistry lane. How did you start? What was your ideas to pour into that, and how you want to express yourself that way?
Yeah, so both my parents were really into music. I'm not from Minnesota, but like my mom was a big Prince fan. My dad was a big Michael Jackson fan. Those are like two when I was little. Listened to a lot, and then when I was like in 6th grade, I stole my brother's Bone Thugs CDs. And then that was it. Like that was over for me. And so like I'd always kind of been around music, and it was just kind of how I ended up expressing myself. Like I was in like jazz band and things like that, but not very good. But I'm good with words. And so yeah, it just kind of became that in high school, and then stopped doing music for a little while. I lost a close friend who I did it with, and didn't want anything to do with it after that. And then a few years ago, I realized that was stupid, and started trying to do it seriously. And yeah, I don't know. I guess I just kind of write what's going on, which sounds so stupid. That's what everybody does, but like, right? Like you just had enough stuff going on. You're like, all right, I think this all goes together, and I'm gonna make a tape and put it out. And
what I find really dope about your music, and I don't know if this is purposeful and also at the same time like natural, but you really pay attention to lyricism. Like there's a lot of words in your songs, but you which like me listening to your music and me being a fan of your music, there's stories to each of these songs. I mean, there's a story to each song ever made, I guess, but like I really feel like you know how to illustrate a story, and you tell specific stories in specific songs. So I guess my question is, how do you do that? Is it purposeful, and why did you choose that theme of like being serious about what you say? Because you could like make some hot shit, still have fun, but like these songs are still playable, and you're being yourself. I guess I'm talking too much.
Yeah, no. So I guess it's important for me, like especially like kind of starting a little later, like I don't. Like it'd be awesome to do music full time and pay the bills, but at the end of the day, like I just see art as a way of like connecting with people, making people feel like someone else out there has been through something that they're going through, because that's what music did for me. And so that's the goal at the end of the day, right? So I just make sure that, one, I tell stories and I say things that are honest to who I am as a person. Like, I don't say anything that I haven't done or don't do. And then on top of that, try to say it in a way that people connect to it, right? Like, sometimes you can be so personal and so specific that people don't get it. Like, it's too personal and too specific. So it's finding that balance of how do I tell my story, but also in a way that, like, other people can, like, connect with it, even if they haven't been in that exact situation.
Yeah. So where do you guys see yourself, like, you just, you know, open the floor up, like, this year? So, like, have you ever felt like not doing this anymore, and like in relations to your whatever your goals are? Because I don't know what your ultimate goal is, but why do you continue to do this? I mean, obviously you love it, because you wouldn't continue if you didn't. But like, what are some of the reasons you keep doing it? I guess, and then like relay that to this year, and what do you want to see for this year and the years to come? Like, where do you want this to go?
Small question, you know?
Small question. Big brains.
That's I mean, I think everybody, like, I mean, we like want to make it, right? Like, we want, like, I don't want my day job, you know. But if you're asking about this year, I know for myself, it sounds weird. Like, there are people who I see through the internet. I'm like, man, you get a lot of plays on your music. And I can see it and be like, I can do that. In the sense, like, I just want to reach more people. So I'm not super out there. Like, I'm not the guy who's like very social and out there and talking to people, but I love discovering things through YouTube and through social media. There's so much I mean, it's heavily saturated with people wanting to do it, but it's a great place to meet people. So I just want to, like, be able to share more. I really love making visuals, and I just want to share more with people.
What about you, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I think your point, like, of wanting to stop, like, having stopped for so long, like, now I don't ever want to stop. You know, like I saw life without doing music, and it wasn't good. And I think too, like, one of the cool things about being like older artists who do it, like, I don't know, the older it's so cliche, but the older you get, to realize how, like, fast time moves, and, like, man, why not do shit you love with it? And yeah, I mean, and for the, you know, I just keep going because, yeah, why not? And, like, I'm fully prepared for a day that, like, because, you know, I used to do a lot of poetry, and, like, there was a day I woke up and I was like, I don't have any poems to write. And, like, you know, that might happen with music, I hope not, but until then, you know, I just keep pushing. Yeah, I think for the year, we went into this year with the idea, and I say we, like, there's just my friends who I work with on stuff. Like, I always say we, like, and be like, Oknice is not a group. That happens sometimes. I just play with a drummer. I'm just like, we're shooting all the shots this year, man. We're just trying to do everything we can and invest in it and make it big. Yeah, because, yeah, you said right. Like, I see people do it, and it's like, I can do that. And at the end of the day, cool, like, one of my favorite things about being a rapper is, like, on some level, no matter what, no matter how long you rap, like, you're just trying to prove to everybody how nice you are all the time. Like, that's still under everything. Like, there's still people, even, like, the people who I love, respect me, like, there's still times where, like, I just need to show these people, like, I'm nice. Yeah, at the end of the day, that's probably the base level keeps me going.
Yeah.
That's a good point about what you were saying about, like, being someone like us who's maybe older than, like, playing shows with, like, this dude's like, oh man, I can find a drink here. And, like, yeah, bro.
They got the X on there.
But it's like, because I see that, like, I see what these people are doing, and, like, I'm not here to be, like, on the internet, like, getting drunk and, like, just smoking weed all the time. It's like, no, like, I want to take it more seriously, because, like, this upcoming year, like how you're saying, like, you want to prove to everybody that, or consistently show that you're nice. Like, someone can tell me, like, oh, this is cool, I saw this, that's cool. It kind of doesn't matter. There's, like, so many people who don't know. Like, you know, you can't just sit around and be like, man, like, that show went really well. Like, let me just sit back and, like, just wait for, you know,
The break.
Yeah, so it's a good point. Like, it's constant. It's constant, I think. You know, you work hard to put out a song or put on a show, and then, like, there's not really time to celebrate. Not yet.
Nah.
You know, it's like.
And there's nothing more humbling than like playing out of state and like play to a crowd that doesn't know you. Because then you really have that moment of like, oh shit, like everybody in your city loves you, but then you go like play Detroit or something and no one in that crowd knows who the fuck you are. And it's a good reminder. And it's good, like it's encouraging. That there's so many more people.
For sure.
I like that.
So what about I like how you're talking about like other places. So how do you guys feel about the region, the city that you're in right now? Like would you feel like you would succeed somewhere else? Or are you like excited about the scene? Like, no, because that's the battle I have sometimes, so I'm not gonna front. But like I've always come back to the answer of I can't leave this place, because every time I feel like I need to leave, not that I can't travel, like that, take that, you know, I'm talking about moving entirely, like there's something else happens, you know, like Lizzo makes it big, okay, Master P moves here. I'm not saying these things are like that massively important. You know, we get the Super Bowl, you know, Soundset is here. And you know, like, it's weird, like Sophia Ayers was just that situation, I was that situation. Sophia Ayers tours the world with Lizzo. I mean, that doesn't mean I mean Lizzo, but the fact that I can see an eye to something. Is it possible? You know, so like being in the city now, I mean, it's the city of Prince now, you know, so it's like, I don't feel like moving is basically what I'm trying to get at. So, I mean, I'm like answering my own question, but like for you guys, is this the scene for you? How do you feel about the scene? Do you feel like you belong in it? Feel welcomed?
Yeah, I mean, I think just before this, I was meeting with somebody, and we kind of talked about I've been in St. Paul for 10 years now. And when I started doing music seriously again, everybody told me how hard it was going to be because I didn't go to high school with everybody, and that it was hard to be a transplant and get into the scene and all this and that, and it freaked me out. But it really wasn't. Like I got decently welcomed by people. Like Rich Garvey was one of the first people I ever met here, and we just ciphered for forever. He's heard my worst shit, but he was so welcoming, right? Like everybody knows Rich. Rich knows everybody. Like. And then, you know, and yeah, I felt really welcome. You know, I work with quite a few, like my guy Dear God out of Michigan, and like there are other cool scenes, but I think there's something really special here, especially like having come. So I was originally from Oklahoma, where there's the scene, there's a scene, but everybody's competitive, and you just don't have shows like what we have here. And I think sometimes you gotta take that into account of what's here is something special. Even for all the things that can get better and fixed, it is something special. And for me, yeah, it's definitely one of those. I'm happy to travel. I'll probably die here, and I'm cool with it. Like,
how about, did you answer?
Yeah, I think there's something unique with the scene here. So I mean, I look at, you know, so like probably top of the food chain is Los Angeles. And then there's like New York, Atlanta, Houston, and then everything like, so a place like this, we're pretty isolated. Mm-hmm. Like we're not near any of those places.
Right.
So I think like that forces us to like really look inward and like build a community where for the most part, at least like not the people I encounter, there's not like beef or people who don't get along. Like,
right, yeah. Like
everybody you come across, you're like, cool, like, yeah, now we're homies. And then you work together, you perform together.
Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, me personally, I don't feel that tension when people like,
yeah,
oh shit, they're coming. Fuck.
Yeah. So,
you know, like, you know.
So I think there is like a very friendly community here, which is uplifting people. Like I know, I met Nerd D
Shout out to
a year and a half ago, and I've seen like from what I've seen, I was like, man, this community is like really embracing and lifting him up, which I don't live in other cities, so I don't know how often that happens, but it's a very uplifting place, and we really work together. So
yeah, the start of this year, I'm just trying to collaborate, working with my guy Sequence out of down south, and just trying to collaborate a lot, trying to play a ton of shows, trying to stay booked. Just because I like playing shows, but hoping to give a new big project by the end of the year, but no promises.
This is Solana, and you're watching Starin at the City.
This is Okay Nice, and this is Staring at the City. Let me hear it if you're with me.
Hey.